Hey there. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for October 9th through 12th, 2020. How are you doing? So, right now we are feeling the exact square of Mars square Pluto. Very powerful and potent energy. This is the second of 3 exact squares of Mars square Pluto with this Mars retrograde. And what's happening with this energy, what it seems to be about, is coming up against the edges of reality. Pluto is known as the destroyer, will break energies down, but that's not all that it's about. It's only breaks down what's false and what's no longer serving. And so what's really going on, and that's what we're being shown, is a breakdown, a confusion of the lies, the nothing makes sense in our world. It's dark and scary. And but that's all evidence of the light that's coming in. So we're in this exact Jupiter sextile Neptune. And this is a huge expansion of spiritual possibilities on our planet. This is the third and final sextile. We're coming to the crux of the energy of 2020. And so this sextile is like so important and powerful in your moment as a supernova soul to grab a hold of a higher, more true spiritual reality. And I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but there are glimpses of this magnificent, glorious spiritual energy just beyond the veil of this false matrix that's breaking down right now. Everything that's playing out in our world is really about that. It's a demonstration of how we have been limited and controlled in our spiritual evolution for thousands of years back to Atlantean time. And now those false constructs of reality, the lower matrix, as hard as they try and all the resources they're using, are breaking down in front of our eyes. Now, for the person who's been completely invested in material reality and the news feed and, whatever we're being told, this is a very scary moment, right? For you, supernova souls, it's like, whoa, this is what makes it all make sense. Your whole Earth evolution, your whole time here, you've been trapped in this time construct. You've been trapped in the past. You've been trapped in the trauma. You've been playing small. You've been hiding out. And the energies right now are like nothing more to hide from, nothing more to wait for, nothing more, no one to wait for. It's your time. And so the deal is that we only have the moment, right? I mean, we don't even have that really. Like time actually as a construct doesn't exist, but that's what's kept us in the lower matrix. Now, when your time constructs start to break down as you move into your awakening and your spiritual awakening, it's very, very strange and can feel like you're kind of losing it a little bit. But that's actually evidence of those false constructs breaking down. And even though you have no idea what you're doing, really, it's like, okay, this is your time to fly. It's your time to reach up. It's your time to be that cup of God and hold on to this frequency of something more real. And it's hard because it's like nobody around you can validate this for the most part, right? And supernova souls have been programmed to need outside validation because they've been persecuted, right? And it's kind of like, okay, well, if I'm accepted by the people around me, this codependent type thing, then maybe I can stay alive, And this is our challenge because it's like you have to go deep within your heart and your soul, and you have to claim that spiritual light of why the whole definition of who you are and why you came here, and you have to live that truth on a vibrational level. Now, when you do take in this light and you hold on to it and you acknowledge it, you validate that, stop looking for the outside validation, then you can, the messages will come of the fear programming, be all alone and God, it's not real and all that, but we just gotta like bust through and grab a hold. It's like that waking up from that bad dream. And at first you're like, whoa, that was so real. That really happened. Like, right. And then you're like gradually come back awake and you're like, no, that was just a dream. And that's where we're at right now. And so, the deal is like this Mars square Pluto, this is the second Mars square Pluto, and it is going to be 3, right? The third and final Mars square Pluto happens right at the solstice in winter. I mean, in December, winter in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. And that moment, that energy is so intense. And we're actually preparing for that right now. We're being in a presence, we're being prepared, we're being, you're operating on a plan like that you have no idea. You've got this huge host of powerful, exalted beings that are like where you're working with, and you have just no idea. And all you can do is navigate this 3D, one energy that you have available to you. This is the only car you can drive. But more and more, you'll get a picture of like, whoa. But it's kind of like you don't get to know the plan, because if you knew the plan, then everybody else would know the plan. You're like executing this plan, no roadmap, just how we felt through this whole evolution, dropped off in some nightmare. And then you got to navigate your way out, except for that navigation out is your key to everything. It's why you came. You came here for spiritual ascension. And everything that's happening in your life right now, this is the squeezing portal energy. And it's like, even if it feels like it's working against you, it's working for you. It's a boomerang, fourth dimension, like mirror energy. And it's like, whoa, this is like recognizing, validating the forces that may have been working against you, right? And then, but understanding that when you get to that part of that fourth, almost fifth dimensional place of portal, everything is working for one thing, positive, negative, light, dark. It's all, so it's just kind of a good mantra. Be like, this is working for me. This is for my awakening. This is what I came for. This is for my spiritual ascension. And it's just my hope and prayer that the SuperNova Souls can get a little drop, a glimpse of this glorious energy that's trying to come in and help you validate who you are as a soul, everything you've gone through. And it's time for that to start paying off. The natural law of the universe is that your spiritual abundance is reflected in physical abundance. And yet we've been living in this upside down, back asswards, totally messed up, twisted, false construct, false, fake Merkaba spinning the wrong direction, and de-evolving, right? And yet we look at the stars and the planets and the sun and the moon and our whole world, and it's like everything's moving all the time. We know our whole universe and galaxy is expanding all the time. And so we've been just kind of sitting in circles in this trap, right? But what if the whole trap of this trap is to get out of the trap? And you're right there. And so this is a powerful, just so powerful, it's such a powerful time, because we've got Mercury opposite Uranus, and that's been exact for the last few days. It's going to come back into an exact opposition from the 19th to the 20th of this month. And that's a very powerful time next week that we're moving into. Mercury turns retrograde on the 13th, Tuesday. And so that it makes, so this Mercury is going to 11 degrees and turning retrograde at 11 degrees Scorpio, pretty powerful energy. And then Uranus is at 9 degrees Taurus. So they're opposite each other. Sorry, I said square in the last video. I get so caught up in the energy and make those little mistakes. So anyway, Mercury is opposite of Uranus, and there's this energy of tension around whether or not we deserve this new reality. For the supernova soul, this is about, what if this is all a big nightmare? And you're getting yourself, Houdini, getting yourself out of that box. And when you got it, you can only get yourself out of the box. But once you get out of the box and move into that glorious light, then you can start working with your team more directly, your guidance team, everything that's alignment with your highest self, as well as your team that's embodied here on the planet, becoming aware of who they are as star beings. And so that Mercury turning retrograde at 11 degrees Scorpio in opposition to Uranus is going to stay for this whole, pretty much through the third week of, into the third week of October, this opposition. And it's really important because, Mercury turned retrograde. Went into its retrograde shadow and square to Saturn. And so these are like the bookend energies of this Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde is happening while Mars is retrograde, and it's a portal into a whole different dimensional reality. It's a different Mercury retrograde. And how profound to have it turn retrograde at Scorpio 11 degrees, go back into Libra, and then back into Scorpio. And it's about how do we harmonize the breakdown, because the breakdown of our lower construct, the awakening for the masses, has to do with truth coming to light. Truth about, right now, you can see people like really clinging to whatever they're being told in the group think. And, it's almost like there's this like subconscious demon anger energy that can come at you for just gently challenging the paradigm, right? And that's because the moment that they say, wait a minute, maybe this isn't true, everything breaks down. And you have to remember that you, as an aware and awake soul, have been exploring truth and other dimensional realities for years, right? So imagine having to go through all that in just a couple of weeks or months. And that might be what we're entering into here. The astrology is saying, hey, there's a point in the breakdown where, you can't save that building anymore. It's just got to crumble to the ground. And that's where we're at. It's like one more little push and it's all falling down. And then you're here to be like, hey, you guys, there's something here to catch us. And it's glorious and beautiful. And so Mercury opposite that Uranus, though, Uranus in Taurus is our self-worth for these higher frequency vibrations for the Aquarian age. Do we deserve it? Are we good enough? Is there something that we need to earn or do? And also it's about that spiritual abundance. And can we receive our own abundance? Can you stop and step out of the nightmare and be like, whoa, I've been through hell and back. And that's because I've got a massive spiritual abundance and I'm ready to own that shit, And so this is what's available through these transits. And it's like such an incredible combination of transits, of tension, Mars square Pluto, just, we have nowhere to go but to break down those walls and step through into a new reality. And then Mercury opposite Uranus and kind of that energy of facing the darkness, facing the shadows. And for the SuperNova Soul, your shadows are about not feeling like you deserve your spiritual abundance, that it's wrong and bad, it's something shameful. And it's like, whew, time to wash all that away. Now, this is where Venus comes in as now in Virgo, in a trine, sweet, coming into an exact trine. So these next couple of days, that's on the 11th. And the exact Jupiter sextile Neptune of the magic light pouring through the cracks in the matrix, that goes until the 14th. And so these next few days into the middle of next week is crucial moments to get out of the time trap as much as you can, grab a hold of the joy of what's more real, what's more true, get out of the nightmare, because Venus, these harmonious transits together are like a magic key. And Venus is kind of going, hey, you guys, we can harmonize this, right? Uranus and Taurus is like, well, you thought this was physical, but science proved to you it wasn't. We never believed it though, right? Okay, well, I can handle that as a concept that what's physical isn't actually physical. But now we're challenging that, right? And it's like, if it's not actually physical, then that means it can actually adjust. And this is a weird thing that's happening, like time, space delusions, physical space delusions, kind of like Twilight Zone. Wait a minute, the physical reality gives us our bearing in this construct, and so it's just such a strange time. But Venus trine Uranus is saying, hey, we can harmonize this. Just, it's actually more like plasma. and it can kind of move and shift. And, we're not having destruction. We're destructo of the matrix, and we're destructo of the false time constructs. But the earth and our existence is awakening into the dream of the potential of what we've been trying to do all along. And um, why would we have waited so long to get so many souls on board and go through such dark intensity if we were just going to break our world and explode it and like lose our earth? That's not true. That's a total program. And this is a lot of what's breaking down for the advanced soul is where you've bought into false guidance, where you've trusted energies that are not as high as where you came from. That's like false authority constructs. And a lot of that has been like channeled and, information that's come through. And you can see how there was like all these predictions of catastrophe that never happened, like predictive programming, trying to get us to create that. And where you think, oh, this is guidance, and it's like, no, it's programming. You can only go direct right now. You got to go direct. And the guidance that's available, that is huge, beautiful, amazing beings, but they are working in the free will universe. They are working only through your higher self. They're only going to work through your higher self. They're only going to support you when you ask to receive. And how can you receive that when you're listening, when you've given your power over to energies? Now, this goes back to past lives where a lot of times it was your teachers, and then you were advanced beyond your teachers. Your teachers were infiltrated, the systems infiltrated by these dark forces, the same energies that are controlling our planet right now. And then, but through vows and through constructs of contracts, you said, oh, well, like you get to decide when I'm ready for my initiation, and a big, powerful message for the SuperNova Souls, like you came in as a full initiate. Your spiritual initiation is to realize you don't need an initiation. And that's how you get out of the box of this lower matrix. And everything is conspiring for this right now. And we're entering into this portal where it's going to appear more dark and more scary, except for the energies do not support that. I'm feeling a huge shift on, what I've been shown is like through predictive programming, through lower vibrational fields, through the lower matrix, through the astral plane being cluttered up with ghosts that have our, souls that are hurting and stuck in between life and death. They don't realize they're dead, or the addiction energies and all that stuff. And it's like lowering the vibration so that the negative creating of trauma can continue. And we have passed a threshold there, and we still have to clear up our own pictures and stuff that is lower vibrational, and that's all coming up for us nice and neat or not. More like an explosion with Mars square Pluto. But it's time to run with it now. It's time to get out of all of the false spiritual guidance where we've given our power away to entities that are not as evolved as where we came from. Go direct to your higher self and only the energies that will work through your higher self, and be in step into this glorious light. Maybe you have one little drop of this, like a message from nature, or a human that comes in and is an angel in your life in a moment, grab a hold of that. That one little spark of joy, of possibility, of creative potential, it's more powerful and more valuable than all of these stories, and that's maybe coming back to that Uranus and Taurus activation that we're in right now, because Mercury opposite in Scorpio, the shadows and the light, and the shadows for the SuperNova Souls where you've been beaten down to think you don't deserve your own light and it's a bad thing. And then Venus in trine saying, we can do this. Let's clean it up, start right here. This is where the supernova soul's being asked to be like very selfish right now, and it's against your nature. But you need to go to your tower, and you need to be delineate your vibrational frequency, and allow the people, if the people around you and your associates, like if they would like to interact with you, they will meet you where you're at there. We cannot harmonize down anymore. We can't do any more soul saving. We can't do any more going down and feeling bad because they feel bad, and you don't even know that your bad feelings aren't your own bad feelings. And so this is this whole just complete change. Now we're going into this portal. We got the Mercury retrograde, the Mars retrograde will complete next month. And then heading into that December, we've got total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And then the solstice when we have that third and final Mars square Pluto. So this is this next period of time, and it's just so crucial and so beautiful to step through the portal and out of the time trap of the lower constructs. And that means feeling better and grabbing a hold of the glorious light revolution that we're a part of, that we thought was just a dark, scary movie. And I wanted to bring your attention to next weekend, a week from now, is when there's a huge bloom of powerful energies as well, because Venus will be in trine to Jupiter, expanding into the possibilities of this breakdown and the light coming in. It's like Pluto's like rattling the cage. Jupiter's like, hey, you guys, it's really not about that. It's about this. And the Jupiter transits have been so potent this year. And that's when the control energies have tried to do their most negative creating, because it's like they're trying to lower the ceiling in our reality right now, and keep the vibration low. And what's happening is, like, for those who have jumped out of the matrix and had a little glimpse of that, and then you're like, whoa, they're existing in a totally different reality, and then what's happening for that supernova soul is that dance that has to do with Uranus and Taurus, of being like, well, I should probably be down there with them. And then you'll feel better because, you're doing your duty and you're saving and helping, but it's like, you're going to feel like dog shit. And then you got to extract yourself again from that lower matrix. And then it's like establishing your permission to be in your spiritual truth, in your destiny, which is in joy. Of course, we have these powerful feelings that come up, right? We don't want to suppress our emotions, but things are also shifting in a way that it's like, just feel it, feel what comes up, be real with it, and it will pass soon, and you'll get back to even more permission to light, and to value and honor and just give your attention to that light. And it's kind of the key to these times. But so Mars comes into its second square with Jupiter, cracking that, letting that light come in the matrix. And then Venus is in trine to Jupiter at the exact same time. So that's next weekend, pretty much. It's like the 18th to the 20th. And I just wanted to bring your attention to that, because it's one of those like crux moments for this evolution. And it's your opportunity, right now, starting, right now in these energies, but through this next period of time, it's like we're setting a vibrational bar, and what the control energies need to go through right now, and the resources that need to be deployed to try to keep that bar down. We're just so close to taking the collective over, and once you get there, you'll get all this dark nightmare stuff, right? Like fear programming and, oh, don't you dare do that. You'll be all alone. You'll just evaporate, you'll just be annihilated out there. And it's like, no. Or it's like, bring it on. Bring on the annihilation, because all that can break down is the false ego constructs and the pain and the trauma and the stories and the lies. And you're stuck. What keeps us in the lower matrix is our belief in the past traumas. Not that they didn't happen, because it's real, because you feel that pain. But, like we said, the light, the truth, the glory is way more real, and it's going to win. It's going to win. There's nothing that can stop this spiritual evolution. We have made it. The place that we're at right now is a completion of a cycle. Like we're talking about the shift of ages, right? That's a 2,160 year cycle. But if you can picture it, it's like that's one little cycle. And then there's these bigger cycles that are all completing at the same time. And that's one little point of light where we step through. And it's going to happen regardless. So why not enjoy the ride and step into your power and be in that this glorious light of truth that's trying to come in right now of who you really are as a spiritual being, what's more true and real. And the other thing we have is that, it's like, whoa, Mercury, Uranus, and we've got Venus in the trines, and then we got Mars square Pluto, and it's coming, all the Capricorn planets, and now the sun in Libra is coming into play. Now the sun is our identity constructs. It's like, who do you think you are? What's your role? What are you playing? What are you doing? And so it speaks to our lower ego, and it speaks to the higher true self as well. And so the sun is opposing Mars in Aries. That's coming. Well, first it'll square Jupiter, then oppose Mars, then square Pluto. So it's like linking again, when, it's like linking these planets together. And it's all about that breakdown of where the false stories we bought into of who we are, the constructs that haven't been able to be completed from past lives because of the trauma stories, and the true light of our true God self. That was more real. That was here before any of this play of events or stories. Our true consciousness, our God self, us, and what we're doing here is we're having an opportunity to be absolutely conscious of ourselves as that God self, as that consciousness embodied, aware of itself. It's an ecstatic experience. And as I say that, I feel all this energy. It's interesting, the Scorpio, Mercury and Scorpio energy, because it's like, oh no, that's something wrong. That's bad. Like, no, we don't get that. If I feel like that, then that's probably taboo and dangerous and dirty and wrong, and it's like, no, this is just the fact of life, of existing in your true consciousness. And that's what the sun transits are doing for us right now, is again, cracking the code. So we've got sun square Jupiter, that happens exact on Sunday. And so that's a big energy this weekend. It's like everything is saying, just take off that garbage outfit of the false self of who you've been. Like, let that. A lot of things I see people going through, like a triggering in their ego consciousness, like, the SuperNova Souls, it's like you've had to have this armor, and then that armor is breaking down, and it's like, oh, I'm so sensitive. Oh, but that sensitivity, that like insecurity feelings, that's showing you your false ego constructs. And it's like, that's not who you are. And it's getting this black and white energy, and that's these sun transits. It's like, everything is showing us who we are and who we're not, right? So you're going to have a bloom of the old narcissist patterns, and then you're going to have a little crack in the light coming in. And so hang in there. What a potent and powerful time. I'm so glad that we're here together. What an honor to work with you and the SuperNova Souls. I can feel our field, our intention, our determination to work together and move this light ship, create these cities of light, and be on the light ship and be present in that more true, more glorious reality. So thank you for all you've gone through. It hasn't been easy, but you made it, and we're here as 2020. So can we let ourselves enjoy the ride and get some popcorn and enjoy the movie? So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Have a wonderful weekend. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.